So, Assault on Wall Street is obviously Dominic Purcell from Blade Trinity. I'll be honest, I didn't mind Blade Trinity that much, to be honest. I thought it was okay. Um, he's quite good in that movie. He's not obviously as menacing as the other villains, but he was, all right. He did quite a good job. But actually, I think he's better in this movie. I think it's better because that voice he had in Blade Trinity is gone, and it's not so sort of deep tone. His voice was completely different, which is quite impressive. And I wasn't really expecting that to happen from watching the movie. Um, and there's quite a few stars in this movie. There's obviously Edward Furlong. I haven't seen him in a movie for so long, and obviously I know he went on to make more movies after Terminator 2, but um, I haven't watched any of his movies, but he's good in his role. He basically he plays whole like what looks like a stoner character, but he sort of plays this sort of stoner cop well. He looks like he's off his head, but he plays it well. So, and then obviously there's the husband who's the husband of Macaulay Culkin's mum in Home Alone 2. He's in it. I don't know his name, but he's in it. And the guy who plays a Goliath in Gargoyles, he's in it as well. Keith David, I believe. Yes, Keith David, yes. So, it's quite a good movie. It's not like mind blowing or anything like that, but it's far more interesting than the other movie I was watching a couple of days ago, Casualties of War, the Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn movie. I thought that would be really interesting, or at least on some level interesting, and it just kind of let me down a little bit, and it's kind of slow and kind of boring, and doesn't really go anywhere. And there's a couple of bits where some things do happen, but I prefer this. I think this is a better film. I think it holds your attention the whole time. I think it's impressive to see where it goes because it actually does go somewhere. There are things that go on, and the editing's really well done. I like the way that it sort of like there's a sequence where he's like on the way back home to the subway, and something I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want to spoil it, but something quite violent happens, and it's just the way they cut it is quite like intense. Like, is he gonna get home before? He's not before this violent thing happens. But still, I like that, and I liked what the film said about the whole thing about Wall Street, the whole greediness that they can get, and obviously, like recently we had like films like The Wolf of Wall Street and American Hustle, and that's all about fraud and corruption and people stealing your money. And basically, this film sort of talks about that, but not in the same way that they did. I mean, it's not copying those two films. I mean, it's taking sort of the idea of what they were doing and then taking it in a different way because obviously this guy wants to attack Wall Street given the title Assault on Wall Street and he's got the massive gun. If you don't get that, then obviously you're a bit slow. Um, but I like that it's saying something politically that it's wrong, that there's all this money lost in Wall Street and people could get ripped off and stuff like that. And he's not happy because drives him into this debt and his wife's ill and all that. And I thought that was done well. And I think it's interesting. I think there's good performances all around, like I say. And I think it keeps your attention, which is always good. And it didn't bore me at all. And when the violence does kick in, it gets quite extremely violent. But I like violence when I watch it on screen. If it's not done gratuitously and sort of desensitized like U-turn, then I'll enjoy it. And the last till like 20 minutes is full blown sort of like violent assault. Boom, take no hostages and everything. Just shoot everyone. But I quite enjoyed that, and he is sort of saying something very true that it's wrong, that people get frauded and it's corrupt, and I think there's something there, and I think sometimes when you watch a movie, it's not there, if you know what I mean, and there's nothing political it's saying, and there's nothing really being said. It's just kind of flat and hollow, and I didn't feel like that with this movie. Maybe you could say the ending could have maybe gone off into his life turned around, but given on what happens in the movie and how much better it is than Casualties of War, then I will forgive that. And I think it's not a bad movie. I mean, for all the things, I mean, it ticks all the boxes really well in terms of being quite a good movie. I mean, Casualties of War was slow and kind of boring, and nothing really going on. And, you got all these great actors to utilize, but they didn't really utilize them in the way they could have done. Like they were still good in their parts, but for some reason it didn't really work as it should do, and that was kind of distracting. And if at no point in this movie is distracting, and that's what's good because then you're sort of more invested and things are working. And for me, I'd say I like this movie. It's better than Casualties of War. If you want to see a better movie, don't go watch Casualties of War. Go watch this because I think you'd be quite pleasantly entertained. So I give this movie 6.7.